Hey guys, my name is Jeannie Kim. Nice to meet you. I started this YouTube video to sort of review and go over some of the books that I read. I read about a book a week, and a lot of it is like self-help, and I try to improve myself every day. And I'm reading this book called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg. And this book has really changed the way I communicate with others and also the way that I communicate with myself. This has allowed to not only just be kinder to myself, but also identify what I really need when I'm kind of, putting myself down, or, when other people are being aggressive, or when other people are putting themselves down. I try to help identify what it is they actually need versus and that's like bringing out this kind of negative reaction. So what the biggest thing that I took away from this book is that you when you hear a negative message, for example, when your friend says you suck, or like you're such a bad friend, then we immediately become defensive, or or you get upset. You're like, how could you say that to me? These are all very common reactions. However, when you truly take responsibility for your feelings, you actually have four options. You have four options of receiving a negative message or any message. You can, one, blame ourselves. So a lot of women tend to do this, right? Like when somebody says you suck, or like, how could you do this? You're such a bad person. I'm really mad at you. Women tend to react in this way, or at least I do. I go, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Like, I'm such a bad person. They must be right. And so that's one option of blaming ourselves, which is not very productive. And number two, you can blame the other person. So basically, when we receive the message, you can blame the speaker, and you're most likely to feel like anger. You're like, you know what? I'm not the bad friend. You are. You've done this XYZ. I'm not the only one here that's messing up this relationship. I don't know. Maybe you guys are angels, but I've had my share of bad relationships and testy friendships. So. But third option is you can sense your own feelings and needs. So basically, when someone throws a negative message at you, you can identify, oh, when I hear you say that I'm the most self-centered person you've ever met, I feel hurt because I need some recognition of my efforts to be a good friend and to be a considerate partner. And number four is that's like the ultimate level of communication, right? That's you're sensing others' feelings and needs. So first you have to acknowledge, how you're feeling, because hurtful words do hurt. And then you can ask a question. Are you feeling hurt because you need more consideration or respect for your own choices? And then, once you identify the other person's need, then you can move on to strategy. When your friend says, I'm hurt because I'm frustrated because whenever I text you, you take like days to reply, then you can say, I never knew that bothered you. I can try to, you can then form a strategy of, I can try to call you back or text you back immediately. If not, on those times, I don't mean it. I'm just a busy person, and I usually keep my phone on silent. That's when you can kind of move forward with strategy. So, an example of a negative message being decoded into a very human desire and need is, let's say you're at work and you're saying, or let's say you're talking to your boo and you're saying, you disappointed me by not coming over last evening. If that's the message that you hear, we can decode that. That could mean many things. That can be decoded into, I was disappointed when you didn't come over because I wanted to talk over some things that were bothering me, which means I was disappointed when you didn't come over because then that's the really important part, because when you say because I wanted this because you're taking responsibility for your own feelings, and you're you're owning up to what you need, I needed you to be there. I needed you to like come home early as you promised. I need you to keep your promises because I wanted to talk to you. Because I want to see you after 6 p.m. I want to see that you prioritize our relationship by coming home when you tell me that you want to come home. So that's just a really good example of identifying what the need is behind a negative message. And this is really hard because when someone's kind of accusing you of being a certain way, or when someone's accusing you of, let's say like, oh, I'm discouraged because, or stuff that you say like, or like, you piss me off when you like leave shit on the floor. Like, that's when you hear stuff like that, like, it's so human to get defensive. I'm just like, well, what about all the other times I cleaned up the damn floor? Like, can't you recognize that? I say that to my boyfriend all the time. I'm like, dude, like, I did everything right 9 out of 10 times, and you just have to pick out this one thing. God damn. And when you hear a negative message like that, it's like very human to get defensive because, like, I don't think most of us intend to be bad, like, I never like really intend to like leave stuff on the floor. So another way you could say that is like, my boyfriend could have told me, or like, I would have liked to hear this sort of messaging from my boyfriend. I am frustrated when you leave stuff on the floor because I want this house to be a safe place, and when there's stuff on the floor, people could fall, and I want you to be safe, and I want me to be safe. I want all of us to be safe in this house. So when you leave clutter on the floor, I am frustrated because I want our home to be a safe place. So that gives me an idea of what he's feeling and what his needs are, right? He needs this house to be a safe and clean place for our overall mental and physical health. This book is really great. I highly recommend it. And most importantly, if we're not compassionate this way, and if we don't understand our own needs, then it becomes very difficult for us to understand other people's needs. The more we understand ourselves, as in, the more we're compassionate with ourselves, and we're able to embrace all parts of ourselves and recognize the very human, normal needs that we all have, and the values that we want our world to match up to, then the more likely we're gonna be able to get what we want, because we are identifying what we exactly need. And once we understand that, we can see that other people are the same way. Everybody else has their own needs. Everybody wants a hug, and actually not everybody wants a hug, but you get what I mean. Like, everybody has their own needs, and once those things are verbalized, it's that much easier to meet those needs and to improve your relationship that way. Finally, there's so much in this book, but I think those were the biggest points. Those were definitely the strongest points of this book. And one of the pitfalls, I guess, that was kind of brought out in this book is that we, as humans, find it harder to empathize with the people that are closest to us. So, which is so odd, right? Because you're supposed to understand them more. And I love my boyfriend, and I should understand him more. But it just, when you're that close, it does get hard to empathize, because you're like, dude, why don't you know this? Like, we're so close. We spend so much time together. Why don't you know this? Why can't you read my mind? Alas, we did not meet on mindreader.com. So, this is just a really good tool book. This book is just a really good tool book in getting to the bottom of what we actually need, and in getting those needs met. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be going over some other chapters of this book and also the other books that I read. So I hope that helped. This is my first video, so go easy. Go easy on me. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful... Oh, I just knocked my lamp over. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.